What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Powerhouse Mentality Podcast. I am your host. I am Caitlin Kenna. So today is, it is December 2nd. So before actually we get started, I wanted to start off with this. I am 13 days out from me and Stone and I's wedding, and I am taking things one day at a time, trying not to completely lose my mind. But nobody kind of prepared me for the fact that the last 2 weeks heading into your wedding were going to be, let's say, a complete shit show. But again, all I'm doing is focusing on one day at a time and making sure that I remember that this is a day for Stone and I, and everybody else is just there to have a good time and celebrate our love. So that's how I'm keeping my mind stable through the holidays, and I hope that you guys can do the same going into the month of December. And if you have some big events coming up, whether it be a wedding, whether it be some Christmas parties, or whether it just be celebrating the holidays with your family, I want you to remember the purpose and the intent behind that event. Why are you there? You're there to spend time with the people that you love and have a good time and live your fucking life. So do just that. But guys, today what I wanted to talk about is I wanted to get into a topic that's kind of been always on my mind. I've been in the fitness and nutrition space here for over a decade, whether it be, going to school for nutrition and graduating with a bachelor's in health science, or, working in the personal training space at a gym or online now, but also managing gyms and working with hundreds of clients and being able to have that experience under my belt with not just other people's journeys, but with my own journey as well. So the biggest thing that I see in the fitness and nutrition space, especially with social media becoming more and more popular every single year, because back when I first started fitness and tracking macros and all those things, I was literally using a pen and a piece of paper to track my macros because there were no fancy macro tracking apps, and the world of Instagram was just people occasionally posting photos and posting selfies or posting photos of food. It was no bullshit behind it. It was just kind of straightforward. It was kind of like Facebook, where you would see somebody post a status and say, at work, and you're just like, who the fuck cares? Kind of the same thing with Instagram. But now Instagram has blown up, and TikTok and all forms of social media have blown up to just be full of people some people giving good information that I think the world needs to hear, and other groups of people giving out information that is just for attention. And the reason why this is kind of at the forefront of my mind, I think, right now, is because of the recent discovery of the Liver King coming out with, people found out that he was on tens of thousands of dollars of steroids every month. And not just some steroids. Dude was on more steroids than the average IFBB Pro top competitor. So just put that into perspective and think about, okay, let me look at the Liver King, and dude's not even that strong for how much shit he's taken. Let me just put that out there. But the reason why it pisses me off isn't because cool, you don't have integrity for yourself, that's your problem. But the problem is, I think he wants to help people. I see that, right? I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there. But the thing that pisses me off the most about it is that he preyed on people, and he told people that this was how he got the way he got. And when he was even questioned about being on steroids or being on anything, he said, absolutely not. This is based on how I live the primal way. And people believed him. I'm sorry, but if you didn't think this dude was on steroids, then maybe you need to not be so gullible. But that's one thing, but he was preaching all of this bullshit to people and making money off of it. He made hundreds of millions of dollars off of a lie, off of fooling people, off of tricking people, off of fear-mongering people. And he's not the only person who's doing this on Instagram. He's just the first one, or one of the bigger ones, who's got caught doing it. There's a lot of people out there, just because they have the letters MD next to their name, people follow them, people believe everything that they say. But there's also the same people that if you actually listen to the content that they're putting out there, and you actually look at the studies that they're referencing, either the studies are very, very low quality research, or they're just bullshitting the entire study. I've actually seen people who they will preach one thing in their study or in their Instagram content saying that the study said this, and the study said the fucking exact opposite. But because it was on Instagram and because they have the letters MD next to their name, people think that everything that comes out of their mouth is a fact. Even the smartest people in the world don't know everything. And the smartest people in the world, the people who you want to listen to, are the people who change their opinion. If your opinion is the same as it was with nutrition and fitness as it was 10, 15, 20 years ago, you probably need to be a little bit more adaptable to the things that are coming out in science. So the point of this podcast and this episode isn't to drop knowledge on you, but is more to warn you that not everything is always what it seems. And, Instagram is a huge highlight reel. And I think that's something that we are coming to understand a little bit more. Like when you see somebody rising from the ashes to becoming a super successful entrepreneur, that's awesome. But what you don't see is the journey that they went through. And the most vulnerable people are the people who are telling the truth the majority of the time. Right? The journey is messy. When you're trying to accomplish anything great, the journey's a fucking shit show. Excuse my language, but, this is the Powerhouse Mentality Podcast. If you guys don't know that I curse here, then stay tuned. Buckle up, it gets worse. But what I'm trying to go with here is that you need to understand that when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to fitness, there is not one size fits all approach. And all of these fad diets that are coming out or that you've seen over the years, they come and go kind of thing. Like keto's super popular now. I think it's dying off a little bit, but like 10 years ago, keto was fucking really popular. And then they had the Atkins diet in the 90s. That was pretty much keto, right? And then, now we have carnivore coming out, which don't even get me started there. But the reality is, this is fucking science, guys. Like if you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose weight. Now, is your calorie deficit going to depend on a lot of different things? Yeah. Like if you have terrible gut health, for example, and you're not properly absorbing the food that you're eating, that's going to change the way that you actually take in calories. So it's going to change your calorie deficit. If you have more muscle, you're going to be burning more calories naturally than somebody who's the exact same weight, but has less muscle. So your calorie deficit changes based on how much muscle that you build and lose over the years. That's why it's confusing. It's not like your metabolism is the most intricate thing, and we don't know everything about it yet. But all of these people on Instagram use these big words to pretend they know what they're talking about and to be like, oh, I know all these big words. And then they use them and I don't even understand what they're trying to say. But then I read the comments and people are like, oh my God, I didn't even know that. That's crazy. Oh my gosh, I was eating carbs my whole life and that's why I can't lose weight. Hello? Carbs aren't the problem. There's plenty of high quality research that shows that carbs aren't the problem, fats aren't the problem, protein's not the problem. It's overconsumption of calories as a whole. If you're over consuming energy, your body's going to store that energy as body fat. The end. So why do these fad diets work and why do people glorify them? For example, if you see somebody who's done keto or carnivore and you see them talking about their story and it's like a sad story how they've tried everything in the past and nothing worked. And then all of a sudden they tried this amazing diet and it worked for them. That's fucking great. I'm so happy that that person found something that they can sustain. But that doesn't mean that their approach is going to work for everybody and that is the end all be all. What I mean by that is they found something that they could actually sustain long enough to earn the results that were necessary. They found something that put them in a calorie deficit that they could adhere to. That's it. That's what matters, is that you find an approach that works for you, that feels the least restrictive to you, that you feel like you can actually sustain and adhere to for a long time. Because you can't be on one nutritional approach for 2 weeks, get pissed off that it doesn't work and that you don't lose a shit ton of weight right at once, and then switch to another approach. You can't diet hop or program hop or coach hop. You need to trust the process, and you need to commit to a process. And that's the biggest problem with the nutrition industry. That's the biggest problem with the health and the fitness industry. Fear-mongering, bullshit, one-size-fits-all approaches. Every single individual is going to be different. And the biggest problem that kind of overlaps all of this is that everybody wants to overcomplicate everything. The amount of people that I've gotten on the phone with for a client call or a client consult, and they say, well, should I be doing fasted cardio? Or should I be doing my cardio, after my workout? Or should I be doing my cardio, in the afternoon? Should I be doing it outside, upside down? Should I be eating my carbs this way, heated up, cooled down, upside down, inside out? No. You need to actually just manage your calories and get in resistance training, quality, 3 days a week at least. Move, drink your water, focus on sleep and recovery, hit your protein goal. Because the people who ask the most questions and want the most in-depth answers usually don't even do the simple things. Because they're looking for something magical that's going to deliver results, when at the end of the day, you just need to commit and focus on being over-disciplined to the basics. Manage your calories, track your protein, hit your protein, drink your water, hydrate yourself properly is more than just water. It's electrolytes as well, right? Don't be afraid of salt. Your body actually needs it. Sleep. Work on stress management, because God knows that nobody does. And that's one of the biggest reasons why people don't see results, because they're just constantly stressing out their body. And then they expect their body to lose body fat when they're freaking stressed. Your body's not going to do that. Body fat is comfy for your body. It's that little bit of insurance policy that it has. So at the end of the day, you need to find something that works for you. And that might take a little bit of trial and error. You're not going to have it all figured out all at once. It's probably not going to be the first thing that you try that works best for you. But at the end of the day, if you feel super restricted with the approach that you're following and you know that you can't sustain it for more than 6 months, it's not the right approach for you. Because what's going to happen when all of a sudden you can't do it anymore because you're sick of feeling so restricted? You're just going to go back to your old habits. And the point of this journey is to build new habits, build healthy habits that are going to keep you on the track to where you want to go. So instead of focusing on restricting, and finding the absolute best diet, because that doesn't exist, the best diet for you is the best diet for you. Instead of doing all of that, why don't you focus on just building healthier habits over the habits that are not serving you? For example, if you're going and getting fast food every day, instead of doing that, bring your lunch from home, meal prep it. Make sure it has a good protein source. Instead of going to Dunkin' Donuts in the morning and grabbing a donut and a coffee, have some protein coffee, or, make a nice healthy breakfast at home before you go. Have protein as soon as you wake up. That'll help with cravings. That'll help with muscle retention. That'll help with a lot. Because, guys, the reality is, if you're constantly restricting yourself, you're never going to have a positive relationship towards food. You're always going to have a negative relationship towards health and fitness, when health and fitness should improve your life, not stress you out more. So, that's all that I got for you guys today. I just kind of wanted to get that off my chest. And I hope that this provided you with some value. If it did, please share the show. That's all that I ask. And do one thing today that's going to make you one step closer, or that's going to take you one step closer to where you want to be.